Tonight we'll be looking at process modeling. My name is Janet Kayode. You can call me Janet. You can call me JK, the first alphabet of my name, first and last name. So let's crack on. So we will be looking at this tonight. What is process map? The types, the purpose of process mapping, when to use it, the approach, and our roles or responsibilities as business analysts, the tools that is being used for process map, and key benefits and outcomes. Now, before we crack on, let's look at this research. According to SSRN, this research was conducted by this Dr. Linen. The research says 65% of general populations are visual learners. And this research was conducted between 2002 to 2014. Please, can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. All right, so another research conducted by Harris/Canval says 91% of professionals say visuals are more effective than text. I think I'm one of the 91%. I prefer visual than text. And this research was just recent. It was conducted in 2025. And also, Neuro Insights and Canva says people who disengage from text heavy documents were 76%. That's huge amount. That was conducted in 2025 also. And ZebraCat says 68% customers prefer visual content for learning products. This was also conducted in 2025. In a nutshell, larger percentage of the population prefers visual documentation compared to text. So we will be looking at process modeling. What is process modeling? It is the graphical or visual representation of a process of sequential flow of work or activity. It is basically used in decomposing complex situation, complex processes or complex activities. We have 4 types of process models and their notations, but tonight we'll be looking at the first one, which is flowcharts. Now, there are different types of flowcharts. We have the swim lane, cross-functional workflow documents, and all that. And we as business analysts, we mostly use simple flowcharts when we are faced with a task or an assignment to do. What we usually go for is to look for a simple flowchart to analyze our requirements or the task given unto us. However, what is simple to me might be difficult for another person, and what is complex to another person might be simple for me. So it depends on the interpretation of what you mean by simple or complex. So flowcharts has different types, but tonight we'll be looking at process mapping. And in process mapping, when you're talking about flowcharts, number one, I said it is used to decompose complex processes. You have to consider the number of stakeholders involved, the number of participants involved, and what is the main objective of your analysis. You need to consider all that before you decide whether you want to go for flowcharts or you want to go for business process model notation or any other types of models. But tonight we'll be looking at flowcharts, which is we'll be looking at process mapping, which is a flowchart. Now, what is process mapping? It's the same definition with the process model. Is a visual representation of your business processes from the beginning till the very end. It shows the interaction of between different people's system and data. Now, if you're working on any task, you need to consider who are the stakeholders involved, who are the participants. For example, maybe you want to map out the process of Amazon. I like using Amazon because most people use Amazon. We like shopping anyway. So we want to map out the process on Amazon. Who are the participants? If you want to do end-to-end process mapping of Amazon processes, number one, you have the customer. Customer is one of the people, the user. We have the system, you have the supplier, you have the um, payment platform, payment gateway on Amazon, and some other. So it shows the interaction between this different set of people, the system, and the data, whatever you're doing. And also, process mapping gives it enhanced understanding of how value is being delivered. It enhanced understanding of the different stakeholders involved and how value is being delivered. If you map out a process, you present a visual documentation of a process to an individual, the people will be able to, they will understand it better rather than giving them the text, the heavy text that we've looked at. According to the research we looked at earlier on, people understand visual documentation compared to text. What are the types of process maps that we have? We have the high level, we have the low level. The high level express the main activities in the processes, but the low level will give us every bit of the process that is involved. We'll look at example of each of them. The key element of process mapping, there must be a start point and an end point. This shape is used to represent the start point and the end point, but you can color code it. For me, when I'm working on process map, I usually use this same, like this is the start and end point, like I said, but you can change the color. So for me, for my start point, I do use green. And for my end point, I use red, so that whoever is looking at my mapping would be able to, once they see green, they will know that this is start and the red indicates red. The red indicates end. You can leave it at this color and you can change it to any color of your preference. We have the activities and tasks. These are the main activities. This is represented with the main activities, and this is sub activity or sub process. Let me use the word process now. This is used for main process and this is used for sub processes. We have the decision points. This is an icon or a sign for decision points. Let me emphasize that anytime you are mapping out any process, if you're working on process map, you must have a decision point in your processes. You must have a decision point. And at every decision point, you could either have a happy part or the other part. The happy part is usually the yes, or the alternative part is usually the no part. So all in your process mapping, you must have a decision point, which could either be a yes or a no. We have the input and output, and we have the roles, or we can call it swim lanes. In process mapping, we call it swim lane. Swim lanes clarifies the different responsibilities, the different roles, or the different participants involved in the processes. Now, we have vertical swim lane, we have horizontal swim lane. You can use either, but most people use horizontal. I use horizontal. I tried using vertical one time, but I was frustrated. I had to leave it. But horizontal makes your work neat and professional. Most people that I've seen, they use horizontal, but you can go for whichever one works for you. Now, this is an example of a high-level process. It's tiny. I will show you on Microsoft Visio. I want to run through all the slides very quickly so that we can go to the practical bits. Now, this is high level. It shows the main activities, the main processes on this particular company. This swim lane, the rectangle is regarded as swim lane. The first one, you can see on the left hand side here, we have the recruiter. This is a job portal. On this swim lane represents the recruiter's swim lane. This is the system that will react to whatever the recruiter does. And this is the candidate swim lane. Candidates also, the system reacts to either the recruiter, in fact, both the recruiter and the candidates. And your mapping you must connect all your mappings together. They must link to each other. Everything, there must not be a single process that is not linked to another. Everything must link together. Now, this is your decision point. This bit is your decision point. Like I said earlier on, this is the happy part. I represented my own happy part with green, which is yes, and the no is represented with no. So at every decision point, you must have either yes or no. The yes will take you forward, the yes will take you back, maybe one or two steps, processes backward for you to trace what is wrong with that process. This particular shape it represents documents or forms, and this is your end point. So this is our start point and this is our end point. So this particular one is high level. This is another one. This is low level. This is our stats. This now, the difference between high level, which is this, and the low level now is these sub processes. That's the difference between them. Now, under this sign up, we want to tell for the low level, you need to state what are the information on your sign up form, and those are listed out. What are the information on the sign-in form? These are the information. That makes it low level. You are breaking down the information into the simplest form. You want to expatiate on the processes. You want people to, or your stakeholders, to see every detail that is on in that processes. That's why it is low level. You have to explain it into details. This, like I said, this is another sub process. This is our decision point. You can represent it with another color, or you can leave it with the blue color, and this is our documents. This is another low level process map. This particular one is for a busy website. Now, you can map out anything. The one I showed you, you can map out processes on a landing page. You can map out processes on your header. You can map out processes from the beginning till the end. For example, on Amazon, you want to browse for products from the very beginning, where you start browsing, till the end. Maybe, okay, you decide to buy the product and you made payments to the very end. So if you want to, you can do the end-to-end process of a journey of Amazon. You can make it high level and you can make it low level, but you need to note that Amazon website is a very busy website. So if you are mapping out the low level, you need to be very careful so that people will not get lost, because it's going to be voluminous. It's going to be very, very busy. Now, what are the key benefits of using process mapping? It improves process clarity. If you map out a business process correctly and neatly, people or all the stakeholders involved would understand what you're talking about. It will clarify every details in that process for them. And also it will help you to pinpoint inefficiency or any rework, or if there's any gap in the process, you'll be able to ascertain it easily. It enhances stakeholders alignment. All the stakeholders, once they are okay, once they validate the processes or the process map that you've given to them, then all of them will be on the same page. If they all understand what you're talking about, then they will be on the same page, and it makes the job easy for you. And also it clarifies roles, hands-off, and decision points. The different roles involved, the different stakeholders involved, you'll be able to ascertain them, you'll be able to signify them using the different swims lane, and also the hands off when participant or user A hand over process to the second user, maybe user B. You be able to know, okay, at this point the process has moved to the second participant or the second stakeholder, and at this point it's gone to C. And also you'll be able to see clearly every decision point in that processes. And also the main key, the main benefit of process map, it supports continuous improvements. Process map is not an end product. It's when you do a process map today, you continue to update it to improve on it. And your process map, when you update it, please make sure it's in version control. I'll show you where to put version control on your process map. Now, for example, let's assume I have elicited requirements and I need to map out the requirements. When I map out the current state of the business process, it is called as is. As is, that's the current state of the business process. Now, the future state, this is as is. As is the way the business is currently doing their processes. But the stakeholders are saying, no, can we improve on this? We want this. Okay, for example, let's say customers' waiting time at the moment is 5 minutes. But the stakeholders are saying, no, we need to improve on that and reduce it to 1 minute, 50 seconds. That will be your to be. That new waiting time will now be your to be. So, but you need to identify the gap. Why does it take 5 minutes to attend to customer? That's where your gap comes in. So the current way of doing things is your assist. The opportunity or the problem, the bottleneck, whatever is the gap. So once you are able to identify that, you will now improve on your current way of doing things, which is your assist, and that gives you the to be. When do we use process mapping? We use it when we want to improve our processes. We can use it for digital transformation. We want to automate our business processes. We don't want to use manual processes again. You can use process mapping. So map out how we do, what is our process when we are using manual, what will be our processes for digital transformation. So basically, it's usually to map out the current and the future states. And also, if you want to analyze the regulatory compliance, you want to check if you are compliant to regulatory regulations, you can use process map to do the analysis. You want to analyze the root cause of a problem, you can use process map to do that. And for system implementation also, you want to change system, maybe your business is growing, you want to move from using QuickBook, you want to change to an ERP, you can use process map to map out the different processes. What are our roles as business analysts? We need to identify the business objective. That's the first thing. What exactly does the business want to achieve? Once you are able to identify the business goal or objective, then you need to identify your stakeholders. Who are the ones using this process? Is it the finance and sales department? You need to identify all the stakeholders involved. Once you're able to identify that, then you meet with them and do your discovery, process discovery workshop. It might not be workshop, it might be interview, any technique that you feel is okay for you, you can use it to elicit your requirements. Once you elicit your requirements, you need to map out the processes based on the requirements given to you. After mapping it out, you validate the process. If they're fine with it, if you haven't missed out anything, then you can now identify and if there's any gap in that process. Don't forget that you would have gotten the business objective. So the business objective will help you in doing this particular bit. You need to identify the gap. If there's any risk in the process, you'll be able to identify it. The business objective will give you hints on how to go about it. or it will guide you on what to do. And if there's any improve opportunities that you want to take advantage of, then you go ahead and do that at this point. Having identified the business opportunities, risk, or any gap, then you will now map out your to be processes, the future, what it should be, what should be done. As is what we are doing at the moment, but what we want, what the business really wants to do, what we want to achieve, that's your to be. You map out the to be also, which will inculcate the whatever you have identified. You improve on it, build it into your to be processes. You once you are done with this, you send it back to your stakeholders, you meet with them, explain everything to them. Once they sign it off, then you maintain your documentation. You can store your documentation. You have to store it in location where, if you have SharePoint or in any way whereby people can easily access it, and also you have to be updating it regularly. For example, let's look at this other process. Now, the current process for this company, the customer places order via email. Sales manually records the order. Finance verifies. Warehouse ships the product. Customer notified via phone. This is a manual processes. Now, the issues that we've been able to identify from this current process is the manual processes they use, the manual work. There is delay. Definitely, when you are using manual processes, there will be delay in some areas. Then the high error rate also. These are the issues, these are the gaps that were identified in these processes. Now, if you want to map it out, we have the swim lanes, the participants involved, the customer, the sales department, and the finance department. These will be your swim lanes. And now your to be process will now be, we need to improve on these manual processes. We need to fix these three problems that we've been able to identify. Now, the new process will now be the customer places order online. This is automation. Now, system validates order automatically, payments processed instantly, warehouse receives automated request, and customer receives an email confirmation. Now, what have you been able to do? We've been able to reduce our processing time, fewer errors. If they were having maybe 100 errors in how many orders, then it's been reduced drastically. Then better customer experience, because it's going to reduce your customer complaint. What are the tools that is being used in process mapping? We use Microsoft Visio, Draw.io, Lucidcharts, BPM Mentor, Miro. There are several tools that are being used, but these are just few of them. I would recommend Microsoft Visio for anyone. It's very easy, user-friendly, but you have to buy the license. If you have Microsoft 365 and it comes with it, fine, you can use it. But you can buy the one-off license. Once you go online, you can buy the one-off license. It's user-friendly, easy to use, easy to understand. But these are just few of the tools that are being used. Now, this is the UI of Microsoft Visio. I'm going to show you later. This is where you select any shapes that you want to work with. And these are the different controls that it has. Now, what are the step-by-steps that you need to take in doing process mapping? You need to identify the business goals and objectives. That's the first thing. You need to identify the stakeholders. You map out the ACs. We've talked about this. So we map out the ACs, which is the current processes of the business. We identify the gap, if there's any. We identify, then you not once you identify the gap, then you map out the to-be processes. You review that with the stakeholders, get a sign-off, and maintain your documentation. Common challenges in process mapping. The number one is over documentation. When your process map is too broad, like I said earlier on, if you want to map out the end-to-end process of an Amazon website, in fact, the home page alone is busy. So you need to be very careful not to overburden it. Any information that you feel is not relevant, you don't add it to it. That is if the what you are working on is large. So we need to be very careful so that we don't um, use too much information. We don't over document our processes. Now, ignoring the exceptions, like I said earlier on, at every decision point is either yes or no. If you take cognizance of the yes and you ignore the no, when the actual process is being done practically in the real life, then and the exceptions part comes to view, at that point that project is going to fail because you did not take cognizance of it when you are analyzing the process. So you have to consider the happy parts and the alternative parts in any process you're doing. Missing key participants, you need to identify the key stakeholders involved so that the complete process would be captured. Using ambiguous labeling, we need to be careful of our labeling also. Poor storage documentation. Store it in a way that is accessible to all the key stakeholders. If there is any confusion during processes, maybe after implementation, they can always go back to it, or during implementation rather. Your developers must have access to this process mapping so that they will understand what they are doing properly. Your developers must have access to it. Your testers must have access to it. It enhances their understanding of the process, of the business process they're working on. Lack of swim lane accountability. All your swim lanes must be well labeled. Once you identify the key stakeholders, make sure you label your swim lane correctly. And using map as an end product. Process map is an analytical tool, is not an end product. It helps you to improve in your processes, so you have to keep updating your process map. Best practice is keep the map fit for purpose. Identify the goal and keep it fit for purpose. Let your process map align with your business goal. The map must drive improvement. Yeah, that's one of the basic reason for mapping out processes, to enhance improvements. And you must be consistent in your use of notation. For example, if you are using sub process when you are doing your low level, you cannot use the main process if you want to show some sub process in another place. I will explain that later. Validate map early and often. Make sure you send it to your stakeholders. Let them look at the map that is being designed, so that if there's any error, they can easily identify it and you correct it straight away. Ensure that activities fall under defined rules. Yeah, that's talking about swim lanes. They must be well labeled. Focus on the business goal, which is key, and make sure it links processes to requirements. Once you identify your requirements, the next thing to do is to map it out. If you want to make things easy for you, map out your requirements using process map. And when you are writing your stories, it will help you to identify, in fact, to give you step by step processes of what you are writing about. It makes life easy for you when you are writing your stories. Now, we need to go to practical. I want us to do the hi BA. Please, this has to be interactive now. You can unmute yourself. I need you to, because I'm not using two screens, so I will need response from you. Let's go to, okay. So we will map out the IIBA student registration process, and we will map out the students login process. So if there's any question after that, then we'll come back to question. Let's go to process Microsoft Visio. Now, this is my Microsoft Visio. I'll close it so that you can see what comes up if you are not used to Microsoft Visio. So when you open your Microsoft Visio, this is what you'll see. So you can click on basic program. and you can click on basic flowchart. Please, can you see the Microsoft Visio?
Yes.
Yes,
All
you
right,
can.
thank you. So you can click, you can use any of these templates, basic process, basic flowchart rather, or basic diagram. If you want to take a tour, you can use this, but for the sake of time, we won't go there. So let's use basic diagram. Yes, so now this is our home. We can, when we are done with whatever we're doing, yeah, so we can save it from file. I know we are all used to all these ones, so I won't waste time on that. Now, this is where you select your different shapes. For process map, you can use Microsoft Visio to prepare your process map to do use case and to do BPMN and some other things. But tonight we don't need this math and graph, so I'll right click and close it. Decorative shape, I will right click and close it. Arrow shape, I don't need it. I will right click, close it. This basic shape also, I don't need it. Right click, close it. Now, I want to search for the shapes that I need for process mapping. The first thing, when you click here, you can select, okay, you can come to shapes, yeah, more shapes. From more shapes, click on flowcharts. Don't forget that process map is an example of flowcharts. So come to flowcharts and select basic flowchart shape. When you select it, it should show on the left-hand side. Go back to that flowchart. We need our swim lane. Our swim lane is under cross-functional flowcharts. This is it. I will take that again. For you to get the shapes that you're looking for process mapping, click on more shape. In fact, over on it, or you click on it, then go to flowcharts. Then you have drop down arrows. Under flowcharts, you select your basic flowcharts and cross-functional flowcharts. And that's all we need for our process mapping. Like I said earlier on, this is vertical swim lane. This is horizontal swim lane. Let me show you how vertical looks like. You can pick another one. Once you drop it, it will align. So this is vertical, but we are not going to use vertical. So I'm going to delete that. We are going to make use of horizontal. Now we need to put title. I said we'll be looking at, we'll be working on IIBA student registration process. So you have to make sure you title your process map IIBA students registration. If you have any question, please ask. Don't wait till we finish. In this, let's ask. Now, this phase, you can use this phase for your version control. So version 001, that's my own version control. Now, for student registration process on IIBA, this is where I need you now. So how many stakeholders do we have at this point? Please unmute. I can't see you, so please just talk freely. How many how many users, how many participants do we have during registration? Okay,
IIBA.
Students. If you are registering, students and what?
IIBA.
All right. So
that's the system.
The system, yes, thank you. The system. So we need another swim lane, which is system. Thank you. Now, by default, this color comes in blue. If you look at here, this side, by default, it comes in blue, but you can change it to any color of your choice. I can fill it with another color, whichever one. You can change the color. But let me return it back to what it was. Now, we have the pointers, we have the connector. Let's go back. We are done with this cross-functional. So let me click on this basic flowchart shape. our start for any processes, you must start from this. It must start from this is your start point. Now I want to change the color of the start point to green and label it start. Let me zoom it a bit so that it will be big. Yeah. All right. So this is our start point. Ideally, when you hover on it, it should show you some arrows on the side, on the or at the top, right hand side, left hand side, every around this particular stats. But because this is not in auto, we've not set it to be auto, to be in auto processes. So I will show you how to. You go to view. This is auto connect. You can see that this auto connect is not checked. So I will check the auto connect. That is that. Let me come back home. So when I hover on it, you can see the arrows around it. Please, I need response so that I will know I'm not alone, please.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah,
Yes,
so we can
yes.
see. So once the arrows are there, you can always select each of the processes that you want. And another way you can do it, if you are not sure, you are in the midst of maybe you've forgotten how to do the auto connect, you can just pick your process from the side, but you need to connect it using connector. So you drag the connector from the left side to the right side. When you use connector, when you click on the connector, you can see the shape of my cursor. It shows that you can see arrow underneath the cursor. So that tells you that it's still in connector mode. Whatever I want to do, it will mess me up. So what do I need to do? I need to click this auto connect again, or click the cross beside the auto connect so that it will go back to pointer tool. So I will delete this so that we can go back to, we can use the auto connect. Let me be sure. Yeah, we are still using auto connect. All right. So now, as a student, I want to register on IIBA website. I want to start now. What is the first thing I need to do as a student? My first process will be, I'm not sure
Create a
why.
profile.
No, before you get there at all, before you get to create profile. Yeah, before we get to create profile.
You go to the link to the
All right.
site.
All right. Before you go to the, how do you go to the site? Don't forget, process map shows you step-by-step activity that you do, step-by-step task that you do. The first thing you do, if you want to go on any website, the first thing you do is to input the URL. That's the first step you will do.
Yeah.
And you please note that you need to start each of your process use with a verb. You need to use the word verb to start each of the process. But in a situation whereby you are unable to figure out any verb, just use whatever you like. But make sure, try as much as possible to use verb to start your process with verb. So input URL. You can just say input URL. Input URL. So what happens after inputting URL?
It will take
I'm
you to the
waiting.
site.
No, no, no,
It will come
You
up.
set up your profile.
no, no,
Login.
no.
Go
When
to
you
sign up,
input,
please.
sorry, what did he say?
Go
You
to the
click on
sign
the
up page.
URL.
Ah, you are close to it. When you input URL, what do? You press enter.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So I'm not sure why this thing is misbehaving. Sorry, the auto connect is not giving me what I want. Anyway, let me just use connector. All right. So the next one is press enter. Input the URL, press enter. So what happens once you press enter?
It takes you to the site. The site will come up, the page.
Yes, but what is going to do that? The system will do that for you. When you
Yes.
press enter, then the system will redirect you. Redirects to, let's say, home page. Now, I need to figure out why this thing is messing up. Okay, anyway, let's continue. So I need to connect it together. If you are using your connector, make sure it's well aligned and you connect it. Don't forget, please. Now, once the system redirects you to the home page, the next thing for you to do is you as a system is to navigate the header, because that's where the registration form is. Am I correct? Please, I think if you don't mind, you can open the website. Let's follow the process through. That's where you can get it. I don't want to be telling you, but
Okay.
I will be getting response from you. I won't see anything anymore. So with that, everybody will be on the same point. I say, yeah. Start input URL, press enter, redirect. The system will then redirect you to home page. So from there, you will then navigate. When you're on the home page of HiIBA website, then you will navigate to Ether, or you navigate Ether, whichever one. Navigate Ether. So what happens next when you navigate Ether?
You select the one that is appropriate, which has to do with registration.
All
You
right.
click on the appropriate one.
Thank you. That's right. Now click. What exactly do we have on that website?
Okay, we don't have.
There is.
We don't
There
have.
is.
Sign up.
There is.
Sign
There
up.
is.
Sign
No.
up. Log in. Sign or register here. Register now. Log in.
On the Ether, yeah, I understand that is. I think that is on the home banner. But on the Ether, what do we have on the Ether? Okay. Let me go. I don't want to exit this mode, but let's do something. www.ihib.
Nigeria.iba.org.
All right, so they have two. The Ether is divided into two sections. You can see this is join or renew. This is login. Do you understand? But since we are doing registration, let's use this join. Do you get my point? Let's use the join here. So, yeah, so click join. Click join menu. From I once did developers training, and the head of the developers then that trained me said any menu, whatever you see, any button you see on the header is usually called menu. Some people would call it button, some people call it menu. But from development view now, let's call whatever we see on the header, let's call it menu. But any other thing on the footer also is called menu, but some people call it, but any other thing on the main page, we can call them button.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but that was what I got from my teacher then. Anyway, so now we when you click join menu, what comes next? When you click on that join, what can you see? What happens?
It takes you to where you have to click register here for free, your username, password, login.
Okay, so at that point, the system will redirect you. System will redirect you to registration page. Redirect to registration.
It's actually both. You have the option to register or to
Yeah.
log in
Okay.
if you've already registered, both on that same page.
All right, that's fine. We would work it out. Don't worry. But our process here is login, a registration login, but we'll map out everything we'll see on that page. So let's just call it registration slash login page. Another thing you need to watch out for is that your sentence must not be too long. Yeah, so you need to watch out for that. Redirect to registration slash login page. Now, what happens after that?
Then you enter.
Okay, so the process will come back to students. You will now input details. Let's say input details. In fact, no. Before we get to this bit, something happens. When you register, when you are redirected to this page, you need to see something. You need to see a form. You need to see registration and login form when you get to this bit. So we will represent that one with documents. On your registration page, you'll see registration form, or how does it show from your hand? When you
Okay. What it initially shows is it is showing you a login page with the option of register here for free. That's if you don't have an account.
okay.
You see that
So when you okay, and at that point, does it display all the information on the two forms, or you need to click?
Yeah, when you click to register, it will ask you for your name, last name, email, country,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Okay. Now, do you need to click before it displays that form?
Yes, you need to click.
You need to click on register for free.
Okay, good. Now, so we've not gotten to this bit then. So let's get another process here. Now, you will now click on, once it takes you to the registration page, you click on register for free. Under this register for free, I need to link my process using this connector. Yeah. So at this point, I need to, when you click on register for free, then it will display the form that will show you all the information. So in that case, I need to adjust my swim lane. I need to drag it. No. Undo. Come on. And okay, let me pick a shape first. Come on, why is this thing messing up? I should be able to, 1 minute. Swim lane 1, swim lane 2. Oh no. Anyway, let's go back. Ordinarily, I should be able to, but I should be able to expand my swim lane. I should be able to expand my swim lane so that it can accommodate all the information I want to add. No, this is not what I want. This is ECOP. My apologies. What's happening now? Oh, God. This is not right. I'm not sure what's happening, but anyway, okay.
Maybe you should click out of the box and then try it again.
You know what? Let me save it. Save on this PC, desktop, iHiB. No. All right. I'll close it and see what happens. Okay. Yes, it's working now. You can see that my cursor has changed. Yeah, can you see? It's expanding. My cursor, this is my normal cursor. Look at it when I place it on the line. Can you see? It has changed to now when I move it just below the line, it's showing like cross. But if I place it on that line, it's showing a double, like a double line with arrow up and down it. So once it changes to that, then you will be able to expand it. So let's come back to this registration. Now, here we need to put our forms, documents. Click registration for free. Now, under this, this particular one is showing us we have two documents on it. Is it one document you can see or two documents? Is for, okay, this is for register for free. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Are we together?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so when system redirects you to login page, then you will now click on register for free and it's going to display registration forms. Click for registration forms. You can replicate the form using this document, or we can use sub processes. Another thing we can use is sub processes. How many information do we have to input, please?
Well, for now, 4.
Okay.
Maybe after that they will ask for more. But
The
for now,
first one, let's delete this. The first one, what's the first information on the
first
one?
name.
First name. Okay. So you can select another one. Last name, I guess.
Yes, last name.
And which other one?
Primary email.
Primary email.
Select country.
And the next one is select country.
Do we need to add the other? There are 2 boxes there where you click to accept the.
We have to add everything.
Okay, so it says whether you want to receive news and email. You check
So
the box.
we can just say check news box. Check. Is it news and email?
Yes, and then also check the box
box.
to agree to the terms of use and privacy policy.
Yeah.
Then after that, you now click on register new user on the button.
Check.
You also have the option to cancel if you don't want to continue with the registration.
Okay. Check terms and privacy policy box. Then the last one is
So you have the option, so you can click on register, or you can return to the logon page. There's a button to register. There's a button to return to login page. There's a button to cancel.
okay, all right. You can add everything if you want, but you can do the next. Okay, no.
Then there's also a support button.
You know what? Like we said earlier on, we need to be careful so that it won't be unnecessarily too large. All those information, well, they are fine, but let's be mindful that let's focus on registration process. Now, anything that has to do with login, let's ignore it. Like that return to login page, we'll ignore that. The other information, I don't know the other information. Let's ignore that. So we'll stop here. The next information is to click on registration button, and that's a major process.
Hi, Janet. Please, I
Yeah.
have a different opinion to that.
Okay, click
Yes,
1 minute, please.
Okay.
Button. Okay.
Okay, so I was thinking, wouldn't it be time to use that decision
Yeah.
symbol?
Yeah, we will.
Have to either cancel or
Yeah, we will. Where do you think we should use that?
okay, so where they've gotten to the point where you either cancel or complete the registration. So if they want to continue the registration, yes or no. No will now lead you to the cancel, and then they end the process. Then yes, you can now continue every other process from there
Yeah.
for the registration.
Okay. Now, for this particular one, I understand your point. We'll get to that. Now, you've imputed all your information. Once you impute your information and you click registration button, it is now this period that the system will now authenticate. Let me put connector here. Yeah, so the system will authenticate once you click on registration detail. If you don't click on registration details, if you don't click on that registration button, the system will not authenticate your details. Do
I
you
don't
agree
think that's
with
what she's saying.
Okay, what is she saying?
That at the point of registration, there's a decision that the student is making.
Okay.
And the student can decide not to go ahead with registering.
Okay. Well, yes. Okay. And so where do you think that should come in?
It will be at the point where you're registering. So after you've inputted the details, or while you are inputting, you can decide to cancel.
Okay.
Or to register.
Yes.
For example, if you don't want to give them your email, you can decide to not go ahead.
Yes, you're right. But I am asking you now, where do you think we should put the cancel, the decision box to cancel now? If
It's
we
going
want
to be after the check terms and privacy policy, because that's the next step after that. Once you accept the privacy policy, then you want to say register, cancel, or not. So
all right,
it should be there, maybe beside it, not under. I don't know if there's room for that.
Yeah. So here, in my own opinion, I would suggest we put that. If we want to go ahead with that cancel, I would suggest we put that here because it's a decision that you are making. It's like a main process. It's a decision you are making. Continue, you can say cancel registration, question mark. You put question mark at the end of it. So is it a yes or no? If it is yes, then you continue, click registration button. If it is no, then you go back to the start button. Do you get my point?
Yes, makes sense.
All right, okay. So connection point, the connection here now, let's assume it is no, it will go back to start. Let's change the line to red. If it is yes, we'll go forward. Let's change it to green.
Why is it going to start? It could take you could still be on the website. So
Where exactly? Because at this point, this is where you are inputting your details. So
no, I mean, if you cancel the registration, you haven't exited the website completely.
Yeah, you have not. You are still on the website.
Okay.
But you are starting your process all over again. Maybe you can go to wherever you want to go to, but you can't do anything here because please click join. Sorry, are you saying something?
Maybe we should have an home page, because when you enter a website, you will get to home page.
Navigate. This is your home page. Yeah.
Okay, then you should go back to the home
come back
page.
to the home page. Yeah.
Yes.
You can come back to the home page, but let me label this particular one.
And I also want to ask, you know, those ones that we have, the sub, that first name, last name, can we not just list everything in one box rather than
You
just
can. You can.
to
You
make
can.
it neater?
Yeah, you can. I'm not sure why I can't label this red. Anyway, so let's take that to home page. We need to do it in such a way that is not
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I think my question is
this thing is, I need to close it again. Sorry. You can go ahead, please.
I'll wait to see the process.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
I'm just thinking.
A couple of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the process map, I believe that what everybody's saying is correct, but don't you think it depends on what the purpose of this process map is supposed to be?
Yeah, your intention is what your intention would determine the decision you are making.
What I mean is the intention of the process map. What I mean is the purpose of the process map. Is it for the purpose? Would it not determine how detailed you will be and what a high level? Because I don't think it's every process map that needs to have like all the details, like back-to-back details, specifics in terms of what is the process for. So what purpose is this? This map, is it just to show users this is what you need to do to log in? How detailed should it be? I mean, that's my question.
This particular process is to show users the process to log in. For example, you want to develop a website. You want to map out your login process for developers to develop. So you will now determine, let's assume the website is not in existence. You are mapping it out so that this is what you want developers to develop. So that's why you need to show all the details. You need to show all these forms. So because the testers will ask you, for them to be able to test, they need to know the informations on the form so that they can tell you, okay, does it pass, or how many information do you have on your process map? How many details are there on the developed environment? If it does not tally, then they will fail the test. They will fail whatever the test they are doing. So this particular one is for you to be, for example, the purpose of this is for us to map out the registration process on this website. Or, okay, maybe IIBA employed you that, okay, this is what we have at the moment. How can we improve these processes? Because I spotted a gap somewhere when I was looking at it this afternoon. And that was why I said, okay, let's look at this thing together. I could be wrong. And so what you are doing your objective matters.
Precisely. That's why I'm asking this question, because whatever is the purpose why you're drawing a map determines how detailed, because sometimes there might not need for you to enter to have
all
these
these
boxes
details.
where you have first name,
Yes,
last name, primary, because
yes,
you already, does the symbol matter here, because you're selecting the sub-process symbol. If the sub-process is that the student enters their details,
yeah,
why don't you capture those personal details? Why don't you capture it in one box instead? Like, okay, this is the sub process that the student enters their personal details and then clicks. It just makes the map much more simpler and
yeah.
easy to
Don't forget
navigate.
that. Don't forget, there's no right or wrong answer. The way you want to do your map might be different from the way I want to do mine. So if you choose to do everything, to put all the information in one box, fine. It's good to you are good to go. But if you choose to simplify it, to explain everything, and don't forget that this is a learning platform. We are just I will learn from you, you will learn from me. So it's not as if this is the way it has to be done. Do you understand? It depends on your preference. You can do it anyhow you want it. If you feel you want to spell it out this way, then you can do that. And if you feel you want to put every information in a box, then you can do that also. Or if you feel you just want to put, okay, click on input details. That's all. You can do that also. So what you actually want is what matters. What objective do you want to achieve? Now, for this objective, let's assume that we want to improve on this process, or we want to give this process to a developer to develop. So if you want to give this process to a developer to develop, you must expatiate on all your processes. It has to be low level. But if you just want to map out the process on the website and you want to identify gap, fine, you don't need to state all this. It depends on what you want. Like we said, your objective, your goals matters.
Janet,
Yeah.
I have I would just want to say something. Like, you know that one that we say press enter. The user is not going to see press enter within the website. Can we not say navigate to home page rather than bringing the home page down there? So we just, instead of saying you input the URL, we should navigate you to home page, redirect to home page.
Yeah.
Because the press enter is taking place on your laptop or not on the website.
Yeah, I know. But don't forget that you are mapping out the step-by-step activities that you are doing. Everything you are doing is what you are mapping out. Okay, now if you input URL, the system will redirect you. What action do you do after inputting the URL? The user will have to press enter before the system can take you to the home page. You need to do something. Once you input the URL, you need to perform an action before the system will redirect you. What is that action? You need to press your enter. That's the action. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do understand, but I'm just looking at this process that is taking place on that website.
Yeah. We are just trying to map out the step-by-step action, the processes, the activity that you are doing. You have imputed your URL. You need to do something before the system will redirect you. You need to command the system. What's the trigger for that system to redirect you to the home page? You need to press enter on your laptop. And that's why we spelled it out. Are we good?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yes, we are.
Cancel registration. If you want to cancel registration, redirect you to home page. And if you want to continue, then you click on registration button. When you click on registration button, the system will also perform, and there's a decision here. Does the system authenticate? Now, let me expand this again. I'm not sure why this thing is not allowing me to. I don't want to be closing them. Anyway, so
Why it's doing that
I
is
have a
because it's
question.
highlighted. If you look at your box, the outer, you see dot is highlighted. Maybe if you click outside.
this is outside.
if you click outside, those dots will go off and then you'll be able to expand.
Which outside are you talking about now?
I mean, outside of the
Here.
name box, because I can
Okay.
see,
You can
the
see
dots
where?
I can see dots on
I can't
the
see any dots here. Where are the dots? Sorry.
the outer square, your border on the border.
Okay, here. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever those dots are there, you are not able to expand. That's my observation. Now you can expand, I think.
No. Yeah, I can expand now. Okay. It's because it was on connector, but once I take
Yes.
it back to point out to, then I'll be able to
Yes.
expand.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please, I have an observation.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So you said cancel registration. I
Yeah.
believe this red line should be yes. It is when it is yes that it should take us to the home page. Then when it is no is when we click
Yeah.
registration.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Cancel registration. Yes, go back to, yeah. Yes. Go back to then this one will be no. Thank you. All right. So click on registration button. What happens after this process? Now
It will
there's a
register you, I
decision.
guess.
No, the system will need to authenticate the details you have imputed.
Yes.
Yeah, the system will authenticate. Authenticate details. Yes. And if it's no, it will take you back to
to where you have to input the correct details, maybe.
yes. Yeah. I want to space it so that there won't be any clash. Okay. I don't want the lines to cross each other. In fact, we have missed a step. Now, this is our no. Yeah. Now, click registration for free. We have missed out the input details. So all this information will now come under input details. So in that case, we need to highlight. Yeah, rather than deleting everything, you need to highlight everything and move it to the side. Yep. Let me move it a little bit more. Okay, so input details. Now we need to move all this one. Yeah. Yeah, so this is fine. So back to this side, click registration button, then the system will authenticate details. If they authenticate details, yes, you go forward. No, you come back to input details. So it comes here. So let me expand again. Yeah. Now, this comes back to...
I have an observation.
Yeah, please go ahead.
How about the connector between input details and can you scroll up, please? Input details and click on register for free.
Sorry, 1 minute. Which one?
Click on register for free and input details. I feel like
Yes,
there
the
should be
Okay,
connector is
yeah.
missing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We still need to let's look at everything again because I don't want us to miss anything. All right. So at this point, click on register for free, then input details. We've done that. What happens after that? Yeah, there's something missing here too. So after inputting details, cancel registration. Yes, you go back to home page. And if it is no, you continue. Click on registration button. When you click on your registration button, then the system will authenticate the details.
I have an observation.
Yes.
So instead of having a cancel registration, I'm thinking it should be submit registration. And forms will have a positive request from the user. So if it's not, since he has completed his data, the next thing should be to submit. Is when he's not submitting, then you have a note to submission and then it goes back.
Yeah, but on this particular website, the information we have, I think I was told we have, if you don't want to go ahead with the registration. Sorry, can we get the information on the form again, please? Hello?
After you input the details, there's a button immediately after those boxes that you tick off.
Yes,
and
yes.
then you click to register.
Yes.
But there's another button further down where you can cancel, or you can click to return to log on. What was
Login.
that? Or something like that. Yes.
Well, yeah. Well, for what we've done, I think it's right, because if that information is saying you can cancel or you return, well, you can go ahead and click on and authenticate, then you do your end that way. But at the same time, if you don't want to go ahead, you don't want to complete your registration with the company, you can delete all your information and go back to the home page. So that's why we have this cancel registration at this point. So you can either go forward or you cancel. You can abort the process at this point by going back to the home page, or you go forward and complete your registration here. But another thing we need to look at is all these arrows. We need to be very careful so that the way we link all the arrows, it matters. Like this particular one, I'm not sure. Click registration button. In fact, I'll change the arrow here. Yes, click registration button, then the system, yeah, this is fine. Authenticate details, yes. And it takes you to another process, okay? Yeah, good. Then this particular one, that's one thing about these, let me delete it. About all this connector, we need to be very careful. Okay, now the red, no, it takes us back to this one. This is the red bit, and this is green. Yeah, so this is our yes. Yeah, so at this point, this is our no, and this is our yes. Authenticate, yes. What happens on that after authentication? Please, what happened after authentication?
I think it will register you and then take you to your dashboard or something. I
Yes.
didn't click on it because I'm already registered, so I didn't.
Okay. After registration, the system will display success message. Displays success message. And what happens after that?
I think the student receives an email to
Confirm the email?
yeah, to confirm the email, yeah.
Okay, so
that will probably be before before the authentication, because that's probably an authentication process. Part of the authentication.
You know, when you input your details, when you input your details, the system, like if you input incorrect email address, or you just input some random name without maybe Gmail or Yahoo or whatever, the system will need to check if this email is correct before it can. So the process of checking if all these details are right, that's the authentication we're talking about here. So the system will authenticate if all this information are right. If all this information are correct, then your registration process continues. But if the authentication fails, that's when you come back here and correct this information that you have imputed, maybe add or add Gmail to it, then it goes through.
Okay, I get it. So that's not when it confirms whether your email is genuine or not. It's just checking that you follow the...
Yeah, you follow the registration correct, you impute, correct details. At the point where it's to authentic, where if you are doing the login, then if you input your email, if you input an email that is different from the one you used in registering, then it's going to fail in that authentication also. So it will check the real authentication, whether you use genuine email address or not, when you are doing login process. I'm nearly done. No.
You know the process that they do now, I don't know if I don't remember if they did it with this IIBA registration, that when you submit an email, before they complete the process, you first have to go to your inbox and click.
To validate.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was what she was referring to.
Who?
I don't
You mean the
remember.
other lady that spoke earlier on?
Yes, I thought that was
All right. Okay. You know, I was asking for the process from you guys. So it is what you're telling me that I'm mapping out. Do you understand?
I think we can go the way we are.
Sorry?
I think for simplicity, we can go the way we are. It's still okay.
We can go the way we are, yeah, so that we don't complicate issues. Yeah, so from the system displays the success message. What happens after the system displays success message? You can end it. I think it says there is an option for you to click to return to login page or something.
Yeah, so maybe to take you to your dashboard where you log on.
That's
probably display a page where you can now put your email address and log on, probably to the logon page.
Now,
something.
if you look at the normal process on that website, once the system displays success message, then the student will now click to return to login page. That's where I said I saw a gap. Click return to login page. And the system will then end here. The process will end here. Yeah, so let me do the connector.
Just try to log on now.
Yeah, okay.
Or to register rather.
Okay.
And after clicking, it took me to thank you for registering. Please check your inbox for directions to set up your password. And
okay. Okay, so after you've registered, which is the display, is that the system display success message?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. So after that, what happens? On that same message, there's another information that click to return to login page or something like that. Please, can you check for us on that under that same message? Hello.
can you hear me? I didn't know I had muted. Okay.
Okay.
So under that same message, there is the option to return to login page or cancel.
All right. Okay. Now the option to login page. So let's assume we want to log in. So the candidates can now click return to login page or cancel. So
but before you
Are
can
you
do
sure?
that, you
That's
need to go
before
into your
registration.
email. You need to go into your email because, like I said, the success message states that thank you for registering.
Yes.
Please check your inbox for directions to set up your password. So you need to set up a password.
Yeah.
And I have received an email now. So I
Yeah.
need to activate my account before I can log in.
Yeah, you will do that, but this registration process, it ends here. But for
Yes.
you to log in, you have to validate your account before you
Yes,
can
you're
log in.
correct. You're
Yeah,
correct.
so this registration process ends here. Once the success message is displayed, then you will now click to return to login page. But before you
Yes.
can log in, you have to validate your account from your inbox. Do you understand?
Yes,
So
yes.
this message ends here. And this process ends here. And this is where I said I saw a gap. Now, rather than you saying that students should click this bit to go back to login page, why not redirect the candidates to dashboard straight away? That's my own thinking. For you to make the system seamless for candidates, you can redirect candidates to login page straight away rather than telling candidates to go and verify or validate whatever. I know it's a security process, but the validation can be done in another form whereby maybe before the registration comes, before you even display this success message, let the system the candidates validate inbox before you redirect. Once the validation is done in the student's inbox, then the system will take the candidate straight away to dashboard.
Yeah, I think that is better.
That's my own thinking, and that's where I said, okay, there is a gap in this particular way, because now for me to go to my dashboard, I will have to go back to registration page again, login page, input my email and my password. You're wasting my time. But I want a seamless exercise to register and go straight to my dashboard. And that's the essence of mapping out processes. You will definitely identify some things. And when we were asking about objective of doing these things, I said, okay, let's assume that this is IIBA. IIBA has developed this. They want us to look into it and fish out any gap that is there. But we've been able to identify one gap here. They can tell you, okay, this is how we want it. If the business says, fine, we are okay with this process, we have no choice but to leave it. But we still have the obligation to recommend that we can improve on this process by taking the candidate straight to dashboard rather than telling them to go and log in again. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does, but it
Yes, it
doesn't
does.
eliminate any process for you still. It's just a question of which comes before which. You still have to activate from your inbox.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we still have to activate from the inbox. But if you activate from the inbox, you have to start the login process afresh. And that's why you need to click on this particular button that click to return to login page. When you click to return to login page, you will now start the login process afresh by inputting your email
Oh,
address.
yes,
You get my
yes,
point now.
yes, I get the
You will
point
start
now.
login process afresh
I
rather
get the
than
point
going
now.
straight into your dashboard from this end.
You're
That's
very
it.
correct. Because
Yeah.
sometimes when I register, I'm like, why are they asking me? I just gave them my email. Why are they asking me again?
Yeah. So fine is to strengthen the security, but also there are ways we can go about it where the candidates would verify, they will validate the email before he even gets to this point, and the system will take them straight into their dashboard. So this is what we have for the registration process. We can do the login. Login is not, it won't take this time. Login is so easy. Rename.
Okay,
This is,
please, I wanted to ask, why is there no connector between the input details and the documents underneath it?
sorry, this one. You
Yes.
can add connector, but you can as well not add connector. Even this one, if I want to do it personally, I won't add connector. I'll just put them underneath each other.
Each other.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's your choice. It's not compulsory. Like what someone said
Mm.
earlier on, you can as well put all this information in one box.
Okay.
Do you get?
All right.
But for consistency's sake, let me add connector.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
If you want to put all the information in one box, are you going to still use this sub process or you will now use the document icon?
You can use the document. In fact, this sub process that we use, we can as well use documents for all these ones because this is a form.
Okay.
You know what I would do? Let's replicate this particular one with documents. Yeah. Input details. I need to do my arrow again. Where is this coming from? Authenticate details. Okay. Yep. Yes, I think we are good now. So we can quickly do the login. It won't take time at all. Hi, BA students login. Volume 1. Yeah, so we have students, we have system. Let's start. Start. What's the next thing? We have to do the same thing. Start, input URL. URL. Page enter. Redirect to home page. navigate the header. Click. Is it login they have there? Let's just say login menu. I think so. Click login menu. Yeah, then the system will redirect you to login page. Redirect to login page. Come on. So what happens there? Then the system displays form. Login form. What happens here? Yeah. So what happens here? Input details. Input, let's say, login details, and under which we I think we have email, password, and what do we have there? Sure. Can we please check the login details? Email on the form. Email, password, and please, what information do we have on the? Anyway, I will assume is just these two.
Yes.
Okay, email and password.
Yes.
Then click login button. When we click login button, what happens? Authentication successful. Yes. What happens after yes? If the authentication is successful, yeah, then the system will redirect to dashboard. Ideally redirects to dashboard, and that the system redirects the candidate to dashboard. That's yes. And if it is no, it comes back to this. It comes back here. Let's expand it, and I think the process ends there. Yeah, so let's quickly look at it. So you start, input your URL, click enter. When student clicks enter, the system redirects to home page, and the student navigates to header. Click on login menu. The system redirects you to login page and displays login form. Now the student inputs login details, email address, and password. then clicks login button. Now, the next thing, the system will then authenticate login details. Is this successful? The authentication, is this successful? If it's yes, then system redirects to dashboard. If it's no, then you check on the login details again, and the system ends here. So this is the registration button. So if you look at here, assuming the system takes the candidate straight to dashboard from here, I won't need to start this process again from login, the other where I will click on login menu. Yeah, so but because of the way it was developed, once you get here, you have to come and start the login process again from these bits, which makes it longer for candidates or for students. So for me, there is a gap here. IIBA can improve on the registration process here to make the journey easy for candidates a bit. So please, do we have any question? Any question? The purpose of process map is to aid improvements on the processes, on the business processes. So whenever you map out any journey or any activity, you need to be able to identify the gap there. If there is no gap, fine. The business is okay. But if there is gap, then you recommend, and it's left for the business to accept or to decline your recommendation. So that will be all for me tonight. If there's any question, please let's ask. If not, then I'll hand over to the president. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet. That was an awesome section. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
guys. Really good.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. President, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I guess it's Morocco, Nigeria now.
Oh, okay, I get it.
So you get the drift, right? Thank you.
I get it now.
Thank you.
But well done. You did well, though.
Thank
you did
you.
well.
Thank you, Janet.
Yeah,
No
President,
wonder the
how far?
guys
I want
were
the
very
score.
quiet.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Janet. Thank you for everyone that participated. I'm sure
Yes,
it's
sir.
been an interesting, insightful one. And
Oh.
everyone has learned one thing or the other. So, yes, we look forward to another study group section next week, Wednesday, by God's grace. All right. Bye for now.
Okay, guys.
Bye. Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Everyone. Bye.
All right. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye-bye.